Ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant, good Sunday evening to each and every one of you wherever you are. Once again, we're live from Brooklyn, New York. On tonight's presentation, I want to share my thoughts and condolences to the family of one Mr. Dexter Scott King, the son of the legendary and iconic and mythical Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who recently passed away this week at the young age of only 62. I also want to get some things addressed when it comes down to everybody's favorite subject, and that is relationships. I'm going to lay it all on the line tonight because I'm sick and tired of talking about relationships. I'm sick of even hearing the word relationships, especially from those who don't know what they're talking about. So, as always, I'm your man Yosef X, and I welcome you back again to a brand new podcast presentation of Yosef's 2 cents. So let us do what we always do, and that is sit down and reason together. I mean, after all, we are adults here, and we are not grown little boys, and we're not grown little girls. Sit back, unwind, and relax. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments. All right. Back to a brand new podcast presentation of Yosef's 2 cents. I am your man Yosef X, and it is a treat and a delight for me to come back on multi-streaming on Facebook/Meta as well as YouTube. I hope that you have had and you are having a stupendous and fantastic, awesome, fabulous, stupendous, tremendous, awesome, beautiful Sunday evening. And let us do what we always do and sit down and reason together. And I thank you for making Yosef's 2 cents a part of your Sunday evening routine. Before we get into my 2 cents tonight, I want to acknowledge the faithful few who is always on here. Brother Sam on the YouTube side, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got Sister Giselle in the house as well, also on the YouTube side. Peace and blessings upon you. Thank you for joining the fray as well. Over on the Blue app, we have the lovely Miss Marla Johnson. Good evening to you, beautiful. Thanks for joining the fray as always. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And also on the Blue app, we also have Brother Justin Love in the house. Peace and blessings upon you as well. And Sister Giselle, you are quite welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I want to applaud you all one more time because you do not have to come on here and listen to my soliloquies, but you do. And I am very appreciative of all of you for your viewership, your listeningship, your followership, and all the other ships. I do greatly appreciate you. As we are all aware, we found out a few days back that the one and the only Esquire, as a matter of fact, he was, Mr. Dexter Scott King, recently passed away on January 22nd of 2024 at only 62 years of age. He was 8 days away from his 63rd birthday when he passed away. Uh, he was an American civil rights and animal rights activist. He was also an attorney and he was an author. He was the second son of civil rights leaders, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, uh, Mr. Derek, Mr. Dexter, pardon me, Mr. Derek Dexter, I'm trying to give this man another name, I apologize. Mr. Dexter King uh, was also the brother of Martin Luther King III, Miss Bernice King, and Yolanda King. And he was also the grandson of Martin Luther King Sr. He is the author of a book entitled Growing Up King, an intimate memoir. Unfortunately, he passed away, as I said, at the age of 62 due to, I believe he had prostate cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back and check my notes here. Let's see. That's why it's so important to get checked out. You know, um, he died of prostate cancer. Pardon me. He died of prostate cancer at his home in Malibu, California. Just 8 days. Check this out, y'all. Just 8 days before his 63rd birthday. That is absolutely shocking. That is absolutely shocking. And for those of you that really got a good look at Mr. King Esquire, uh, he is truly a splitting image of his father. I mean, if there were two people, oh man, if there were two people that were splitting images of one another, it was definitely Dr. King and his son, Esquire King. I'm telling you. And he made a huge contribution in his own right to the humanistical community and to the field of human endeavor. And I definitely want to express my heartfelt condolences to the entire family of Mr. Dexter King. Gentlemen and ladies as well, but mainly gentlemen, how many more of us must pass away before our time? How many more of us must pass away? How many more of us must pass away before our time? Before we get ourselves checked out? How many more of us must pass away due to the fact that we are not changing our diets? We are not living healthy lifestyles the way we should. Cancer is a very dangerous and deadly disease. And unfortunately, it has claimed the life of our deceased brother, our dearly departed brother. How many more times must we hear about a prominent figure or somebody that's close to us, and we get the news that they have passed away? Gentlemen, I encourage you, if you are not taking care of yourselves like you should, I implore you, it is incumbent upon thee, sirs, brothers, fellow comrades in the humanistical struggle for justice, freedom, and equality, my fellow comrades in the cause of the Most High Yah, we must start treating our bodies as the temples of Almighty Yah. We must treat our bodies like the temples that they are. Remember what the scripture teaches us. The Most High's Ruach Kadesh, or Holy Spirit, shall not dwell in an unclean temple. And unfortunately, this is a painful reminder. Unfortunately, this is a heartbreaking reminder that the black horse of death shall one day ride through our ranks and shall claim another life. And one day, the black horse of death shall one day come for you and for me. I mean, death is all a part of this human listical sojourn, of course. But we should not, I repeat, we should not be on an accelerated pace. I mean, to borrow a line from Mr. Samuel L. Jackson in the movie Soul Man, when he told of his character, when his character, Mr. Lewis Hines, told um, Bernie Mac's character, from the first slap and cry, we all start to die. But I'm not on an accelerated pace. It has been said before through many pulpits, whether it's in buildings or virtual pulpits, that the way we live in this realm we call Earth is really a tryout. It's really preparation for how or where we go when we depart this body and the world. And once again, my heartfelt condolences goes out to the entire King family. But if I may conclude my observations of one Mr. King, I believe that, albeit death is a part of our human listical sojourn that we call life, Mr. King would not want any of you to grieve for him. Instead, I believe he would want you to celebrate his life. I believe he would want you to remember the good times that you all shared. I believe that he would want you to learn from his mistakes and the bad times that he had. I believe he would want you to continue to honor his legacy by remembering the good times, because those lives that Mr. King touched, the lives that he touched positively, the lives that he was blessed to touch and intertwine and intermingle with, I believe he will want you to live your life to the best of your ability. And by doing so, I believe that is the best way to honor him, and you keep his legacy alive. And you keep his legacy alive by remembering the good times you shared with him and by what his father and the contributions that his father made as well. I don't mean to sound like a eulogist tonight. I'm not preaching a sermonic presentation. No, ma'am, and no, sir. But in my 40 plus years of humanistical experience that I call life, I have felt the places that are smooth and beautiful, and I have felt the delight of the pleasant side of life as well as the rough spots of life. I too know what it's like to live in a gated community, and I also know what it's like to live in a trap house, so I would not freeze myself to death. I've been on both sides of the tracks. I've had mountaintop blessings and miracles and breakthroughs. And likewise, I have also had valley experiences. But all of the things that has shaped me, all of the challenges that has shaped me in becoming the man that is before you tonight, I'm a better man for it. I am so much wiser for it, and I continue on learning. That is what I believe Mr. King would want for you. And likewise, I also believe that albeit when Mr. King departed peacefully in his sleep, I also believe that he took a part of you with him, but at the same time, he left a part of himself with you to fill that void. I must also submit to the beautiful King family that, and I'm not telling you all things that you don't already know, but it's just look at it as a divine reminder. Look at it as a perpetual reminder. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. I am humbly trying to pay my respects to a man in his own right, in his own way, in his own quiet, honorable way, is a legend. And he will and shall forever be a legend. No, you won't ever get over his death. No, the pain will always be there. But in the days ahead, it will get better. It will certainly get better. Again, my condolences to the King family. I could go on and on and on. In my own way, I'm delivering a little eulogy, but there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place to be a clown. There's a time and a place to crack jokes, and there is a time to simply respect and honor that who has departed. His life was an odyssey, filled with ups and downs, mountaintop blessings and valley lows. Mountaintop blessings and valley breakdowns. But through it all, you can learn from his life as he will want you to do it. Mr. Dexter Scott King, good sir, peace, power, and blessings upon you. You have now joined the ranks of the ancestors. You have entered into the pantheons of greatness, and you leave behind a legacy for all whose lives you touched, for them to remember and to celebrate. Peace and blessings, Mr. King. Let me now get to your observations. Let's see what we have here. Where was I? Where was I? Oh, yes, he was. He was definitely a young man, Brother Justin. Absolutely. He was certainly a young man. Yeah, yes, he was. Yes. And Lady Marla concurs. Brother Justin continues. He says, we have no prospective time when our number is called. Indeed, sir. Indeed. I concur. Sister Giselle says the circumstances is very important. I totally agree. Brother Sam agrees. So does Lady Marla. Okay, there we go. There we go. She concurs. Sister Giselle says, so if one's heart has waxed cold, you better get it right before it's your time to meet your maker. I totally concur with your sentiment. Lady Marla concurs. And Lady Marla also continues by saying, live life the correct way. Brother Justin says, gracefully and respectfully. Lady Marla, thank you for your compliment. She said, brilliantly said. I appreciate you. Brother Sam on the YouTube side says, quote, some important ingredients of life. Both kings left, especially black men's. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, allow me to piggyback off of your observation, Brother Sam, for just a moment. I find it ironic, not ha-ha funny, but ironic, that in just a few days, let me check the calendar, this coming Thursday begins what these humans call Black History Month. I find it ironic that this Thursday is what they call Black History Month, but for me, I celebrate Black history every single day. And not only do I celebrate Black history every day, I preach and teach and facilitate Black history every time I open up the Bible. I celebrate Black history every single time I quote a Black preacher, a Black poet, a civil rights activist, or any member of the melanated humanistical family who made great contributions to the humanistical family at large. And not only do I celebrate what they call Black History Month every time I preach Black history every time I open up the Bible, and I celebrate Black History Month every day. But every time you see my face, you're looking at Black history. And any melanated man or woman or child, you too are melanated, or what they call Black history. And therefore, I don't need no month to celebrate Black history. I don't need anybody's permission. I celebrate my melanated skin every single day, because every day that I wake up, I recognize the fact that it is indeed a special occasion. I mean, the Bible does say that we are made in the image and likeness of the Most High. And the Most High, Yah, the Almighty, formed man from the dust of the ground and blew into his nostrils the breath of life. and all the rest of these nationalities, we don't come from them. They come from us. But I'm not going to say too much more about that. I'm going to save that for the more appropriate time, and that is when I conduct our virtual winter revival beginning this coming Saturday, February 3rd at 7 o'clock. And I hope more of you will indeed come and hear not necessarily what I have to say, but what the Most High Himself has to say through me. You may hear my voice, of course, but it's actually going to be the Most High Himself who speaketh. Yeah, Brother Justin agrees with Brother Sam about his great contributions, both kings. Actually, Dr. King Sr., Dr. King Jr., and his son, Dexter King, the Esquire. They all made great contributions in their own way. We learned a lot of do's and a lot of don'ts. A lot of ifs and if nots. And we may do so even more so now that he has departed. He's departed from us. And Lady Marla agrees. All right. It is 3 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. My apologies. It's 4 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. So we're going to now shift gears just for a few moments. We're going to shift gears for just a moment, for just a second. And allow me to say this, because it definitely needs to be said. See, everybody is still talking about relationships. I am so sick and tired of hearing about relationships, especially from those who have no idea what it takes to have a real life relationship, personally or professionally. But since we are on the subject of relationships, and since we are discussing one of the dimensions of relationships, which is romance, I'm going to put it all on the line once and for all so I can begin talking about other things, because the same bloody question is continually being raised. You have more single men than ever before. You have more single women than ever before. The men that are single, they are happy, they are content, they are at peace, they are living life to the fullest. They are dismissing all negativity, all negative people. They are not focusing on women at all. They're not focusing on relationships. And if a man is in a relationship or he's in a marriage, his mindset is this: You are a priority of mine, but you are not my purpose. I'll say again. You are a priority, but you are not my purpose. And the reason why men have gotten to the place in their minds that women are not their purpose anymore, and men have become totally indifferent, is because these narcissistic, promiscuous, neurotic, foolish dames have taught men not to respect them, but not necessarily to hate them either. But they have become indifferent. And the reason why men are now looking at women indifferently is because the contemporary woman in this country, they are the first ones to initiate the divorce. They are the first ones to put a man on child support and to alienate that father from the child or children. These are they who not only does what I have mentioned, but these are they who are also willing to put honorable men on the back burner. These are they who continue to mismanage their time, their money, and their bodies, all for a moment of pleasure. You look at men like myself with such disdain, with such contempt, with such disrespect. I mean, you do all of this, and yet you still expect for men to chase after you? No. Men are not going to continue to chase after you. And furthermore, a lot of men, especially men that's the ages between 18 and 29, they have completely given up on dating altogether. And for you kleptogamists that have failed to correct and to give wise counsel to these loose women who are living the lifestyle and have lived the lifestyle of a harlot, you are every bit the problem, just like they are. You are. You are every bit the problem, like these toxic dames are. You are. You choose to prey on their ignorance by telling them things that they want to hear instead of telling them things that they need to hear. And so you, and I can't say all of you ladies because all of you are not like this, but the ones of you that continues to raise the question, where are all the good men at? Why can't I find a good man? Why is it so hard out here? I'm going to tell your crackpot cuckoo crazy behinds for the umpteenth time and for the last time. At least for a very, very, very long time. Look in the blasted mirror. Look in the mirror. Because you're asking the same questions expecting a different response. You keep asking the question, where are all the good men at? Why can't I find a good man? You keep asking the same blasted questions. You sound like a tape recorder on two legs. You sound like a parrot on two legs. And the answers shall continue to be the same. Stop asking questions expecting different answers. You know why for a fact that you are chronically single. You know why. Because you're evil, you're wicked, you're deceitful, you're psychologically and emotionally are damaged. And you're so blasted insecure. You force yourself on a man that doesn't want you. Would you look at that? I took Sister Giselle hit the nail on the head. That's you, ladies. You're vain, you're deceitful, and you're mentally unstable. You are the epitome of mental illness running amok. And since you feel like you're so special, right? Since you feel like you're so special, riddle me this. If you are such bosses, how come the percentage of you being evicted from your apartments and your homes that you are renting out to own, how come you're being evicted at an alarmingly, astronomically percentage? An astounding, astronomically disturbing percentage. Why? And instead of getting the money to keep a roof over your head and your children's head, because I know the majority of you have children and you aren't married. You're going overseas following men. You're going overseas following the passport bros instead of trying to keep a roof over your head. And you know what's so sickening about that? These passport bros are the very same men you chose, you elected to pass up. And not only did you elect and choose to bypass these men, and you wound up being a single mother anyway, Now the very same men that you passed up, you want them back. But they've moved on to greener pastures. As a matter of fact, since you dodo birds probably are not going to listen as usual, perhaps if you heard it from a fellow member of the opposite sex, perhaps if you heard this from a woman yourself, maybe, just maybe, perhaps you would be better off. Maybe. I doubt it. But we could take a chance. Listen to what this sister has to say. If you have ears, listen. Don't just hear, but listen to what this sister has to say.
A reckless woman is a woman that has no control over what comes out of her mouth. Because what's coming out of her mouth is really coming from her heart. And this is where a lot of women go wrong. They talk recklessly, they always complain, they always nag because they do not know how to guard their heart. When you guard your heart, it's as if you're building a fence over your heart so that offense cannot come in, so that disappointment cannot come in, so that you will not be let down. The moment us ladies, when our feelings are hurt, or when we're offended, or when we're in a very emotional state, we talk so recklessly, and we're not conscious and cautious of the words that are coming out of our mouths because our feelings are hurt. So not only do we have to guard our heart, but we cannot live our lives based on what we feel, because your feelings can lie to you. Your feelings can cause you to believe a truth to be a lie, and a lie to be a truth. And that's what it means to be deceived.
If you have been provoked, if you have been triggered by her words, you, madam, are guilty. If you are angered by her words, and please, ma'am, for you non-black women, some of your behinds are guilty also. This just don't pertain to melanated women. This pertains to you too. Let's not get it twisted. See, the narrative is always focus on the black woman. Always focus on the demographic. Now, please understand, I know how dangerous and how savage the demographic is. Believe me. They are some of the biggest bed wenches in the whole world. They're some of the biggest sellouts in the whole world. They will go to church and listen to a pastor that is not biblically sound and give him the utmost respect in the whole world, but will treat her husband like trash. Likewise, she will also go to that job. She will go to that job and she will get up early in the morning to make sure that she is not late for that job, and she will not be late for that church service, and will dress immaculately for her boss and her pastor, but will look like dog dookie for her husband. You don't cook, you don't clean, You don't keep the house clean. You don't keep yourself up. And guess what happens? Some of you lazy, good for nothing sleaze bags, you sleazy tramps, you go on and you betray your husbands. Then you have the nerve and audacity to get pregnant by another man. And then you expect for your husband to take care of that child? That's why a lot of you females are getting deep six right now. Yes, you are. That's why a lot of you are getting killed. I'm not rejoicing in your death. I'm not rejoicing in your demise. But facts is facts. Truth is truth. And then you don't even look at a man like he's a human being. You look at him like he's a resource. You look at him like he's a tool. And since you don't feed him, you keep his stomach empty and you keep his testicles full. That's why he cheats on you. That's why he breaks the contract or the agreement on the monogamous marriage or relationship, because you forced his hand. Do you know how many women have gained husbands all because of aluminum foil and a paper plate, or plate period? There have been marriages that are going strong today, all because that woman decided to cook that man something to eat. And that man left you alone. Now, am I championing the cause of cheating? No, I'm not. I am not concurring or going along with breaking the agreement of having a monogamous relationship or marriage. I am saying, however, why that man goes against it. Because you forced his hand. And because you forced his hand, that's why he's divorcing you. Instead of giving that man an erection, you're making life difficult for him. Instead of always having that man's stomach empty, another woman comes along and fills his stomach up. And eventually she drains his testicles. Let's call a spade a spade. And you can get mad at me all you want. I could care less. Because it's your fault you're not getting your backs blown out. It's your fault that you don't have an active sex life. It's your fault that no man wants you. It's your fault that no man wants to be bothered with you. It's your fault that men have grown indifferent towards you and will continue to be indifferent towards you. You ain't got nobody to blame but you. Now, had you done your due diligence and you acted accordingly, and you be the best wife you could possibly be to that man, your marriage is dissolved. Because a lot of men are saying they will much rather give you half of everything than to be at peace than to continue to have everything and still be miserable. And like I said, I could care less if you get mad at me. I don't give a you know what. You ought to know that by now. I don't care about you getting mad. What you getting mad for? Oh yeah, that's right. I know why you're mad. You're mad because you know that everything that I'm saying is the truth, yet you want me to be quiet about it. Some of you goofettes are talking about, yeah, he right, but I wish he would shut the F up. I'm not shutting nothing up. You see, you toxic females, you all are some of the same toxic females that got so much yeast infection, you got enough yeast to make a cake for your mother, your grandmother, and them kids. You are some of the same ones that will look at a woman that is joyfully and happily married. See, you jealous of women like Giselle, like Marla. You're jealous of women like Mrs. Star Parham. You see, you're jealous of women like Dr. Nicole Thornton. You see, you're jealous of women like that. Why? They're business owners, they're authors of books, they're motivational speakers, they're principals of schools, they have wonderful families, they're doing very well for themselves, and they are living the life you could have been living. See? You could have been living the very life that these women are living. But no, no, no. Yuck, no. You decided that you would actually behave the complete opposite. Brother Justin, you know for a fact by now, I'm a villain. I'm a villain. I'm going to speak uncomfortable and unpopular truths. And the reason why I'm going to speak unpopular truths and uncomfortable truths is because that is the false narrative that the mainstream media is pushing. And a lot of these dames are feminists. But the feminist pardon me, the feminist manifesto they have been abiding by and they have been living by as their moral compass and guide, along with their warped and twisted feelings, has placed them in this position tonight. Listen, I know it's the NFC championship game, and chances are next week is going to probably be the AFC championship game if both conference championships is not playing tonight. I know y'all can go back and watch the replay. And as a matter of fact, I plan to repost this podcast episode every single chance that I get if I feel like it. And see, here's the thing. Whether you believe it or not, whether you realize it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, either your fathers tried to be as realistic with you as possible, and you did not listen and take heed, or all of your fathers and your parents failed your miserable behinds by not being realistic with you and telling you the truth. Instead, you went along with this whole mainstream narrative of feminist garbage, and now you're suffering the consequences for it. Let me tell you just how bad it's gotten for you, dames. Let me just tell you, let me just give you a synopsis as to how bad it's gotten for you. You goofies are now having to settle for a teddy bear that's 5'7", that doesn't have any humanistical feelings. It's not even human. It's a common noun. It's not a person. It's pretending to be a person. It's not a place, although you place it in your bedrooms. It's a thing. You will much rather settle for a thing that is a common noun instead of a proper noun by a man named John that would have treated you like royalty, but you decided that you wanted to live like a peasant. That's your fault. That's your fault. You dames are so pathetic. You will much rather pay for a human-sized teddy bear that's at least close to $200 instead of being an honorable woman and becoming an honorable wife to an honorable man that would have cost you no charge. Now look at you. Look at how pathetic you are. And see, again, that's nobody's fault but yours. And if you're not settling for a teddy bear that's the same height as me, you're the cat ladies. And if you're not the cat ladies, as Lady Marla said, or dog, you got dogs and cats, maybe. But you did that to yourself. You did. So yeah, you know the reason why you are in the condition and the shape you're in. It's your fault, ma'am. It's your fault. You wanted to be a hybristophiliac or a nymphomaniac or both. And here you are. Now, for those of you that does not know what a hybristophiliac is, that simply means a woman that is sexually attracted to a criminal that is severely violent. A nymphomaniac is a physiological disorder that all you have to do is brush up against the woman and she becomes immediately aroused. There are some scientific disorders that women have that is so severe until they will have an orgasm without contact, without a man penetrating his sex organ into her. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. And if I'm not reading your observations, I am highlighting it where it can be seen as well as read. And see, it's gotten to the place as well where it's difficult to even have respect for you dames. It's difficult to have respect for you dames. It's difficult to have any kind of sympathy or empathy for you. I mean, your husband found out that you've been cheating on him for the better part of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You slept with one dude possibly well over 100 times. You got a body count that's more than a church's attendance nowadays. And now you feel remorse? No, I don't think you feel remorse because you are guilty of the act. I think you're guilty or you're shedding tears because you got caught, not necessarily because you're actually sorry for committing the act. You're sorry you got caught. And then all of a sudden now you want to go to counseling. All of a sudden now you want to work things out. No, dummy. You should have thought about all of this before you decided to cheat on your husband. You understand the ramifications and the totality of the perpetual long-term damage of the lives you've affected. You've affected your own life. You contaminated your own life because you allowed for another man to conquer you. Your husband walks away from you. Your children grow up hating your guts. You wind up losing the house, losing the home in certain states where it's a no fault state, which means some of you disgusting, sleazy harlots, you get half of that man's hard-earned savings. And then some of you shyster and corrupt bastard judges and shyster lawyers, you make sure that the man has to give up the house, the home, and is placed on child support. That's why men ain't getting married. Because the family laws is against men. It's anti-man, it's anti-boy. And the children are just pawns in a sick and twisted game. And that's why a lot of you females ain't worth 2 cents. You're worthless. You're not even worth. You're not even worth a loaf of bread. That's how worthless you are. You're not even worth a loaf of bread. You're not worth a loaf of bread. You would much rather come on social media and beg for money because you set up a GoFundMe account. You set up a GoFundMe account instead of getting off of your lazy behinds and go looking for a job. But you know something? I'm really beginning to think that the reason why a lot of you won't even look for a job is some of you are just too lazy, but at the same time, a lot of y'all are felons. a lot of you women are really just felons. You can't work at an airport because that's a federal gig. You cannot be employed by anything federal because you're a felon. And in order for you to get a job, a federal job, you got to have a squeaky clean record. And you ain't got that. Your best bet is to try to get employed at a Goodwill because they have programs where they will hire those that served time while incarcerated. And Goodwill is not the only place. No, there's a whole list of places where they hire those that paid their debt to society. You're just too lazy to go out and look for a job. Your job is to keep your legs gapped open and to continue to lay on your back. And some of you can't even do that right. Well, I know I know y'all hate me. That's fine. I know you all don't think much of me. That's fine. Truth be told, I really don't think that much of you either. Some of you are saying, how can you talk like this? You call yourself an elder? You call yourself a reverend doctor and you're talking like this? Listen, Toots, you should have heard me back in 2017, 2018, 2019 when Lady Mala first met me. I was worse then than I am now. I've mellowed out quite a bit. So the stuff that I'm saying to you tonight, this is rated PG stuff. You should have heard me about 3, 4, 5 years ago. I was outrageous. I was dropping four-letter words and F-bombs all over the place, every other sentence. So if you're triggered by what I'm saying to you tonight, I wish I had my other page before I had it taken down because it was hacked and all this kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, I was outrageous. I was I was a complete nutcase. I was. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think you changed one bit. Believe me. Believe me. Back in 2017, 2018, 2019, Yosef X was complete gutter. Believe me, I was complete gutter. I didn't give a you know what about you or your feelings as long as I spoke the truth. And I still am. But I'm a lot more chill. I'm a lot more laid back and I'm a lot more mellow and I'm a lot more refined now. But don't get it twisted. I still got the mouth of Peter. I mean, after all, I'm Leon Horn's boy. I'm Leon Horn's son. My father was a great cusser himself. I'm Leon Horn's son. Leon Horn was a villain. Don't get it twisted. And I'm trying my best not to have that side of me to come out. Because I don't mind for him that to come out. I don't mind that side of me to come out. But I am trying to really mellow out. But believe me, Toots, if I will get behind this microphone and if I have my camera on, I will get in front of the camera, in front of my microphone, and I would tell you, your WAP, as you call it, your wet ass puss is nothing but urine. And you got so much yeast between your legs, you can start a whole bakery. It's not my fault that you decide to pop out bastard children or children out of wedlock. And it's not my fault that men continue to walk away from you. And see, the ones of you that have been making all kinds of incendiary statements and remarks. See, Lady Marla will attest to the fact that I've calmed down a lot. Let me tell you just how, I'll go even further to tell you just how bad I once was. I was once so bad, she even contemplated walking away from me. How bad I was. Oh, yeah. I was so bad, she was literally contemplating blocking my number, blocking me on social media, and not wanting to have anything else to do with me. That's how bad I was. Man, listen. If there's one thing about me, I'm going to be honest about me. During the years of 2017, 18, and 19, I was way out in left field. But as raw and as raunchy and as gutter and as trashy and as controversial as I was then, you're meeting a more mellowed Yosef X now, a more refined, a more rejuvenated and retooled Yosef, a more refurbished Yosef Benjamin. But don't get it twisted. I can still get gutter when I get good and ready. I just don't want that side of me to come out. Giselle, you laughing, but I'm serious. I was an absolute terror during those years. Brother Sam, I was terrible, bro. I was terrible. Yeah, I'm refurbished. I'm refined. I'm better than I was. Lady Marla's on the verge of walking away from me. That's how bad I was. But there are two reasons why that I've decided to become as mature as I am. Number one, I do hold the office of a minister. Believe it or not, I am a member of the Ecclesiastical Fraternal Order of Clergy. I am a clergyman. And I have been a member of the the Ecclesiastical Fraternal Order of Clergy for almost 24 years. Went back. I have gone to seminary. I have received an honorary degree. You know, so I honor and I respect the office that I hold. That's number one. And number two, the lady that's listening to me as well. And then I had to be reminded, you can still tell the truth without being so raw and raunchy and trashy. You can still say the same thing without being so raunchy and raw and trashy. My sister used to hear me present my podcasts all the time. I think we were coming home from grocery shopping one day. I think it was. I don't remember. But we were coming home. We were going somewhere or somewhere or another. I can't remember. I don't recall what it was. But she said to me, when you present yourself and you say things on the order, or metaphorically speaking, you you jam things up people's behind without the Vaseline. And as raw and as raunchy and as controversial as I was, my numbers were growing. My numbers were growing. My following was growing by leaps and bounds. I would have at least 10, 12, 14, 15 people listening to me at that time. But as soon as I simply decided to chill out and mellow out and relax, and I started practicing the biblical ministry, not the Christian ministry, but the biblical ministry, my numbers dropped. My numbers dropped. I didn't always have this low number of people listening to me. At one time, there was a 3. There was a 1 beside that 3, once upon a time. A few times, there was a 2. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And of course, people wasn't as sensitive and they wasn't as cream puffs. They weren't cream puffy like they are now. They weren't oversensitive little brats, not like they are now. See? But something tells me that 1 is going to be beside that 3 again very soon. It is. I just got to put in the work. I got to labor. I just have to reach out to more listeners and more people. I have to reach out. I have to reach out more. I have to do more networking. You see? So, and see, here's the thing. And getting back to what I was saying as to why. As to why you keep asking the same questions over and over again, expecting for different answers. You want a man to take disrespect, and abuse from you. Because you don't see that man as a human being. You see him as a slave. You are more masculine than a man is. Ladies that keep asking the question, where are all the good men at? Why am I still single? Why doesn't a man go after a woman anymore? Ma'am, just your mere presence and your countenance or your facial expression is a penis softener. You're a penis softener, ma'am. I mean, you're evil, you're wicked, you're cruel, you're savage, you're heartless, you're amoral. I mean, anytime you're going to celebrate the death of Kevin Samuels and Kobe Bryant, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Come on now. Honestly. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? What does that honestly tell you? I'll tell you what it tells me. Deep down in your heart of hearts, you know for a fact that every word that I have spoken from my lips of clay tonight is the truth. You know it. I know it. And everybody that's listening knows it too. The fact is, you just refuse to change. You're comfortable in your miserable ways. You won't even apologize. That's how bad off you are. You won't even apologize. You refuse to apologize. And see, not only do you know for a fact that the words that I have spoken tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, you also know for a fact that you also know that albeit you don't like me, you would much rather be kept in the dark. You would much rather be foolish and amoral and all this kind of thing instead of changing. You know for a fact that you have fallen from the grace and the mercies of the Most High. You know you have. See, you know better. A lot of you know better. But the problem is you don't care any better. And because you don't care any better, that's the problem. You don't care any better. And because you don't care any better, that is your downfall. And so tonight, before we get off the air, I'm going to say something else that's going to trigger you too. You know what that is? It's going to be another lonely night where one side of your bed is going to be ice cold. It's going to be another night of you not getting any nookie It's going to be another night of you not getting your backs blown out. It's going to be another night of you crying yourself to sleep. And it's going to be another night for you of being unrepentant and seeking the face and the pleasure of the Most High. And you ain't got nobody to blame but you, and only you. It's gotten so bad for a lot of you, you have now turned to alcohol. You've not only turned to alcohol, but some of you are getting high. You're addicted to sleeping pills. You're addicted to alcohol. You all are now strung out. And if you had children, guess what? They hate your guts because they found out that their father wasn't the problem. You were the problem the whole time. You were the problem the whole time. You were. You were the problem the whole time. And you have no one to blame but you. But I got to also say this too. Because you who are in relationships and marriages, a lot of you women, you ain't off the hook necessarily yourselves too. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You who are in relationships and marriages, you aren't necessarily off the hook yourselves. You're not. Now, I believe that a lot of you that have done a lot of dirt to your husbands, that man may or may not know about it. But let's just say he does know about it. He knows about the dirt you've done. And see, if you all have children, he's waiting for those children to get grown. And once he sees that his children are grown, he gone. He gone. You don't think he know about that affair that you had before y'all got married? He know about it. He's not staying for the sake of you. He's staying for the sake of his precious. He knows how many men you slept with. And he probably confronted your behind about it. And he probably laid out the new rules of engagement of defining your marriage and relationships. And the new rules of engagement for your marriage and your relationships probably are as follows. The husband is talking. The husband is talking. He's saying this. Here are the new rules of engagement. From this day forth, as long as we are married, we will be married only in name, not inactivity. We will sleep in separate rooms. We will sleep as roommates. I will not touch you. You will not touch me. Your job is to cook the food for our children. Never mind me. I will get something while I'm out. And if you feel the need to go and sleep with another man, do not bring your lovers near my children. If I catch you bringing one of your Negroes or one of your lovers near my children, I am going to make sure that they bury you and they will never find your bodies. That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying. Furthermore, according to the brand new rules of engagement, when I'm sleeping late, do not wake me up. If I'm going out late, do not wait up for me, because I will not wait up for you. When the children are old enough to really understand the grave crises and the grave situation of and the magnitude of this matter. In other words, when they reach the age of not only accountability, but also adulthood, that's when you and I will dissolve this marriage. I do not give a you know what about your tears. I do not give a you know what about your crying. I do not care about any of your emotions. You are meaningless to me. The only reason why I do not take you out and put you out of your misery, the reason why I do not walk away from you is because of our children. I am not going to have our children coming from a broken home. That is the only reason why I am concerned about your well being. I do not want you touching me. I do not want you looking at me unless we are talking about our children. Those are the new rules of engagement between you and I. Oh, and by the way, if you break one of my other rules, which is you will not cook for me, you will only cook for the children. If you bring your lovers anywhere near my children, it's me and you, and I will make your life a living hell, because I have gotten smart and I have kept track of everything that you do, everything that you say, everywhere you go. And I will email every single person within your family, my family, our friends and colleagues about your forbidden affair. And see, the one thing about you females is this: image is everything to you. Oh yeah. Image is everything to you. Image is everything to you. Image is everything to you. You care about how people think of you. You care about how you are going to be perceived or perceived. You care about what people think. And if that man that you chose to betray lets the cat out of the bag, or in this case, if that man decides to let the snake out of the snake bag, it's curtains for you. Not only that, but a man never forgets the arguments that he's had with you. And some of you women are saying, that was the past. That may have been the past, but a man does not forget. A man may forgive, but he never forgets. You could have insulted that man and used some of the most intimate moments during pillow talk against him during an argument. You think that man is going to forget that? Absolutely not. That's why he refuses to open up to you. And for those of you that are in marriages and relationships, let me also say this to you as well, because a lot of you women, like I said, you are not off the hook. You're on borrowed time. You're on borrowed time because that husband that certainly does have a relationship with the Almighty, he's no longer praying for you. He's praying about you. And that's a dangerous position to be in. He's not praying for you that you become a better wife or a better woman. He's praying about you. He's praying about you because he wants you to suffer the same emotional pain, hurt, anguish, ignominious breakdowns, meltdowns, shakedowns, and takedowns that you put him through. He wants you to experience it tenfold. He's praying about you. And not only is he praying about you, he's also praying you out of his life. You see, every man is not a lowlife. Every man is not an agnostic or an atheist. You do have some men left that does have a relationship with the Most High, and they're getting themselves back on track with the Most High. And that's why I also argued the point and the fact and the reality. He's no longer praying for you. He's praying about you. He wants you gone. You're on borrowed time. And you know what's so sad about this whole ordeal? What's so sad about it is you don't even know it. The Most High hears that man's prayers. He hears that man's cries. He hears that man. He sees that man's pain. He sees the frown in his heart. He walks around like everything is all right because he don't want to open up to you. He don't want to open up to you. He's giving you more chances than you deserve. And he's at the point now where he's saying, enough is enough. I've given you more chances than you deserve. You get no more chances. I'm going to only tell you things that I allow you to know. Everything else about me is off limits because you lost the privilege to know certain things about me. And as soon as the Most High blesses me with another woman, another wife in my life, you, ma'am, are gone. You don't know you're on borrowed time. See, you really don't know the ripple effect of the damage with your feminist acting behavior and your feminist manifesto living behind has caused. See, all these marriages today, every man is not happy in these marriages. All these relationships, all these men are not happy in all these relationships. He's just buying his time. He's biding his time. And perhaps some of you women actually know that your husband don't want you no more. And some of you women probably also know that your man doesn't want you in his life anymore, but you're doing everything you can to make it up to him. You're watching what you say. You're trying to be as respectful as possible. You're trying to encourage him to open up to you, but it's no use. A man never forgets all the times you falsely accused him when he found out that it was actually you that was sleeping around, getting drunk, getting high. And don't say that cheating was a mistake, ma'am. There's no such thing as a mistake. It was a choice that you made. And that's why a lot of men are biding their time with you. And if a man is not biding his time with you, then guess what? That's why a lot of men will continue to stay single. There's no benefit to marriage anymore, he says, because all of the marriage laws, all of the family laws goes up against men. Divorce cases in this country alone, starting from 2016, was at one point $56 billion. It has since skyrocketed to doggone near $80 billion. This is in divorce cases alone. Divorce cases has now become a divorce industry worth $80 billion. But they're not going to report this to you on the mainstream. They want to keep you ignorant. They want to keep you quiet. They want to keep you silent. That's why I said earlier, you are a man's priority, but you're not his purpose. And albeit you may be that man's priority, you are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes down to his priority. Because that man's priority is himself first. His purpose is himself, not you. You are just along for the ride. And of course, all the rest of these podcasters, these so-called relationship gurus and these preachers and these imams, they ain't going to tell you this. Because your ignorance is their golden egg. That's why men look at women with contempt, doubt, suspicion, and they just ignore you. They ignore you. It isn't just those that are single and that have been plotting and plundering. No. Some of you married women also. You on borrowed time with your marriage and you don't even know it. Your marriage is counting down to its conclusion and you don't even know it. And a lot of you women also, you're on the verge of the Most High killing you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're on the verge of the Most High taking you out. Because there's a lot of things you women have committed. You females have committed some damnable things. But everything that's kept in the dark is surely going to soon come to the light. Just as sure as my government name is Joseph Horn Jr. and my Hebrew Israelite given name is Yosef Isaiah Benjamin. Every damnable thing, every carnal sin you've committed in the dark is going to be brought to the light. And what are you going to do when you are going to be exposed? And see, I haven't forgotten about Freaknik. See, everybody stop talking about Freaknik. I haven't. I want that documentary to come out. I want it to come out. I do. And if it does ever come out, you best believe that is going to be my subject. That's going to be my theses. Whether it's on Yosef's 2 cents or whether I'm going to take that documentary and I'm going to clean it up and refine it and refurbish it and make it more clean and more presentable and turn it into a sermon. Either way, you're going to hear my baritone voice. You will hear my baritone voice either in a sermon or in a podcast setting like this. I have not forgotten about Freaknik. As a matter of fact, let me put that as my status right quick. I hadn't forgotten nothing. I haven't forgotten about Freaknik. I'm still waiting on that documentary too to come on out. I sure am. What, you thought I forgot about Freaknik? Not on your life. I hadn't forgotten Freaknik. I'm still waiting on it. You know why people are dreading for Freaknik to come out? Freaknik is going to be the end of a lot of relationships. It's going to be the end of a lot of marriages. It's going to be the end of a lot of people's careers and jobs and livelihoods. And see, here's the thing too. When it comes down to a man's going to be like, yeah, I was there. I shouldn't have been there. I was young. I was stupid. I was foolish. I regret it. That's my fault. That's called accountability, which is something you females are incapable of taking, because accountability means you have to be a grown woman. Accountability means you have to own up to your mistakes. Accountability means you are not going to be coddled. Taking responsibility and accountability means that you are not a grown little boy and a grown little girl, but you are incapable of doing that. Now, let's see how many reactions I'm going to get with this status. I just want to know just how many reactions I'm going to get. Oh, yeah, brother Justin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Many of them are in the pulpit. Many of them are. For now, at least. Thank you, darling, for your compliment. I do appreciate it. And again, shout out to Lady Marla. My little nickname for her is Lady M. That's the little nickname I thought of. I want to thank her for her due diligence in making the announcements and flyers and so forth. I do, and the calendars as well for each month. Shout out to you, my dear. Thank you for all that you do. I want that blasted documentary to come the heck out. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want that blasted documentary to come the heck out. That's what I want. And believe you me, just as soon as it comes out, we gonna talk about it. You best believe it. We gonna talk about it. Yes, we are. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. And to all of you ladies, you toxic females that is chronically single and miserable and men ain't ready to mingle, that's your fault. And to you females that's in marriages and relationships, you on borrowed time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. You on borrowed time. And also to you females that thought you got away with doing the dirt you did, you only got by. Yeah, you only got by. You didn't get away with nothing. You didn't get away with ish. Nothing. You did not get away. You got by. But you did not get away. The late Reverend Leo Daniels once preached a sermon entitled, "It's Coming Up Again." And guess what? It's coming up again. It's coming up again. It's coming up again. I rest my case. Well, folks, it's been a ball. But the clock on the wall says, that's all for now. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your participation tonight. Shout out to all of my new subscribers on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. On Facebook, like, share, and tag your family and your friends. To donate, my Cash App, if it hasn't been hacked, is $Hidden One Truth. That's $Hidden One Truth. Until next time, I'm your man Yosef X. That has been my 2 cents. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a good night. Peace. I'm out.